Hello, listeners. This is 666.1, the Monster Mob, coming at you not quite live from the Boneyard.
If you're looking to talk about frights, we're your friends who go bump in the night.
It's midnight somewhere, and you know what that means? It's time for...
We
Hard!
Horror.
Welcome back, spooky peeps. It's your girl, Demon from Demon Reviews. And on tonight's episode of We Heart Horror, we have our awesome guest star, BlazeImmortal.
Hello, hello.
We have the Bone Bitch, Issa, and his
Bone.
bottled bestie.
Bone
Soda
lad,
Pop
you
Rock
shit.
I said what I
She
said.
called me your bottle bestie.
It sound like you cut out and sound like you said bottom bestie. I was like,
Oh, no, I said
that's a
bottle.
very-
Bottled, not bottom.
yeah,
a very
that's a
different type
very
of friendship.
very different type of friendship.
Confirmed in Issa's lore, soda's a bottom.
Damn.
Whoa. No.
I mean, his mom definitely is, but
That's getting deleted from the episode immediately.
Not if I write it in the lore.
oh, girl. Anyway,
You have nothing to worry about. Isa is all pelvis anyway.
Exactly.
Very,
I don't know,
very true.
not the package I stole. I'm doing work with that
Anyways, Frankenstein. Tonight's episode, we're doing Build Your Perfect Horror Movie.
Ooh. All
Hell
right.
yeah.
I've been thinking about this for a grip. And Blaze, thanks for joining us for another episode. We appreciate you, bud.
Hell
course.
yeah.
I get it.
Love to be
Hell
here.
yeah.
He might be my boss in another universe, but I can still beat the shit out of you with him here.
Good call.
Oh,
back.
no.
Good call back.
Oh.
All right.
But anyway,
so,
yeah, we're gonna get those creative juices flowing. So who you want to get started on this shindig?
I think it should be you, Issa.
Me?
Yep.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Uh,
Did you prepare it all? Did you do your homework, young man?
I don't need to do homework. Homework is for unprepared asshats who need knowledge beforehand. Cringe. No, fucking. I've actually had several story ideas. I had this stupid dream when I was younger. I was like, I want to make a movie before I'm old, and now I'm old and I still haven't made a movie.
You're
Sadness.
not that old.
But yeah, no, a lot of my ideas I have. It was funny because we actually saw a movie with BlazeImmortal recently over in his Discord where he throws an awesome little movie night. We actually saw a movie that was kind of similar to one of the ideas. It was like a mixture of my two ideas, and it was called Glorious. It's very,
With the glory hole. Oh, Jesus.
very similar to what I was thinking. Now, mainly from the perspective of it delves more into the human psyche, and it kind of reflects those types of horror that go on in the human noodle. And, just a personification of, agony or misery or depression or something like that. I find all of that incredibly interesting. That's why Silent Hill 2 is like one of my favorite games. But also the Eldritch angle, I have a story more like that, but the Eldritch kind of story I got going is more of an action flick. It's not a horror type thing. So the one I was thinking was I used to have this old movie idea where it would start out and a character's running through the woods and fucking, it's very intense, very crazy, and they ended up tripping and falling into these fucking weird poisonous plants, and they're getting chased or whatever. We don't see who exactly it is, but they end up getting into this cabin, and then the whole movie is basically just taking place in this cabin. And more or less in the cabin, because we find out that they're on the run kind of thing, and basically delves into their psyche and delves into their past and whatnot. Ironically, again, like I said, Glorious kind of took my twist, but basically I want to see a really good rendition of the ideas that Silent Hill had put forth. But I don't feel like any kind of movie has really like executed it like expertly, made like something true that's truly a classic that I know it could be. But those are my favorite types of horror movies too, is just cool psychological horror with a really crazy impactful twist, maybe. So I would like to do something like that, but I do want to get more descriptive, but I still might actually make this in the future, so we'll see.
All right. I see what you're going with.
That sounds pretty interesting.
I think you should, if nothing else, find some time and just write out like the actual not plot, but like idea base, where you're like, I wanted to start with something like this, and then just write events you want to have happen that lead into other events, and then from there you can expand on those. Those would be things that I think personally, if you find the time to, of course, for anybody out there who's writing, or if you're like Issa and you've had an idea, go for these, because I'll tell you what, Hollywood is fresh out of fresh shit as we watch the 25th remake from Disney and stupid fucking things.
Dude, I feel so bad too. Someone brought up a good point where Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo, thanks. I'm really bad at pronouncing shit today. My bad. Guillermo del Toro made a Pinocchio movie. Stop motion recently, and guess which one is making more money? The soulless one that Disney made.
Oh, God.
That they just kind of shat out.
Well, it's so okay. I don't want to detract from this, but we're just gonna
cover it quickly. Yeah, just
what upsets me is things that were touched on in that movie. He's basically already a good boy. The whole point of finding a journey to find yourself involves the pitfalls of your youth. Showing a puppet smoking, I understand. It's not good. You don't want the kids imitating it. But the fact that the children turn into donkeys should be a good indicator. Don't do that shit, or bad things are going to happen. They give them root beer.
That scene was terrifying enough in the regular Disney movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to see what Guillermo del Toro did with it. That's going to be scary.
Oh, it's going to be so good. We should watch that.
We should. I bet it's tight as hell. But anyway... one scene I have in mind is going through this hallway, literally raining. Like, it's raining blood in this hallway. And they hear some crazy shit behind them, go into a room, turn around, and then there's this large fucking, like, I'm thinking 9-foot creature in the corner with its back turned. And then it's like crying, and then the next thing you see is an eye open up on its back. And dude, I have so many cool ideas about just the weird shit I want to do in that movie. But in the future. So what's up? Who's next, Damon?
It can either be Soda or Blaze, whoever's ready. Whoever ready first.
Sounds like an indecisive host.
I do have something.
Yes.
I got some Blaze. If you're not ready yet, if you need a little more time to think, sorry, we did kind of spring this topic on Blaze, and we've had a little more time to think about it. So I
started writing it immediately.
Yeah,
it's all good. I don't mind going if you.
Please, you're the guy.
So so I had a little bit less prep time for this topic, but I like thinking on my feet, and so. There's two types of horror movies that I enjoy the most. Obviously, there's a lot of subgenres of horror, but what I mean is I either enjoy a horror movie that is masterfully crafted, and it's an incredible experience of cinematography, but I also enjoy horror movies that are just silly, campy, dumb. Sometimes they get to a point where they're like so bad that they're actually funny. And so rather than try, in this case, to craft the most masterful thing that I can come up with, I'm going to go the other route and go for a campy, fun kind of movie that can make you laugh. And so what I was thinking about was that there's these two kids, and they are out in a park somewhere, and they hear a noise, and they find a little kitten inside of a bush, and they feel bad for it, so they take it and they adopt it. It turns out that this kitten is actually an alien creature from another planet that at night kind of turns into like this kind of demonic kind of cat-like creature, and starts murdering people. And so
Ooh.
the kids have to figure out how to, rein it in. And you can have a lot of kind of like campy or cheesy jokes that have to do with cat things. So for example, the cat could, go like one of its victims it goes through their stomach, and then it uses the intestine like a ball of yarn to play around with, stuff like that.
That's
That could
awesome.
be like funny, but also
You
gory
went
at the
straight
same
Evil
time.
Dead 2 meets Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love
You
it.
know,
Yeah.
you
I'm
know
all
what
for
vibe
it.
it's giving me though? A
What's that?
hella darker version of Kid versus Cat from Disney Channel.
Oh my.
Because that cat was an alien.
And I just think that could be like a funny premise, and
I
then you
love
could
it.
have a lot of things related to cats, and maybe like for example they find out that if they use actual like regular catnip, they're able to control the creature and kind of like get it to do what they want the cat to do. So stuff like that, or like like grab typical cat things and then kind of put the twist of what if this was actually like a like a horrible creature that's actually murdering people.
I vibe with it. I'd love to
I like
watch
it.
that.
Yeah, that sounds fun as fuck.
Yeah, it sounds campy as
Really,
shit.
any
I like
cat
it.
movie, I'm kind of down for.
Says the girl who never finished Stray. Okay.
Ooh,
You know what happened
shots
before I could
fired.
Putting
finish
your balls
Stray?
on blast.
My cat died. I don't want to play it now.
That was
Oh,
so
I'm
long
sorry,
ago.
It was a month.
Anyway,
been a month.
next.
Go ahead, Soda.
So I have been toying with this idea in the back of my mind since it was brought up. Some of my favorite horror films obviously are things like It. I enjoy whenever there's a bit of a youth to the horror. So like Stranger Things, you get some high schoolers, things like that. So
Yeah, you like watching kids get fucked up. We get it.
So I went with the idea of a premise of basically this guy who is an exorcist. He goes into basically this house that's been converted over by a cult, and he finds a girl with a sort of tear around her neck, and as he's pulling her out and he takes her back to his house, he starts to have visions of his youth. And in his youth, what happened is he moved to a new town, and there he faces some tribulation with a couple of bullies. This is set in the 90s, 2000s era, so kind of from my youth, so I can actually recall in some of these things. And basically, he meets this girl he starts to develop a crush on, and he gains a new friend in town who's the son of the sheriff, but a big, like, hulky type guy who he stays friends with even into his adult age. And what happens is children around him the other kids at the school around him start going missing, and he keeps having nightmares about this woman basically torturing children, and he keeps getting wrapped up in like these spiders' webs. Like he has nightmares about these spiders coming down from the ceiling and him having like sleep paralysis to where the spiders are actually like creating a cocoon around him. And as an arachnophobic, that would be hell for me.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, the girl he has a crush on, she's actually possessed by the dead school teacher who was torturing like students. Those were real images. So it goes back into 3 different points in time throughout the story, from her and what she did to those children, and how she has put her soul into that necklace and possessed that young girl that he has a crush on, and she's also murdering students. Well, in the future, the necklace gets found and put into that girl's neck that he finds at the beginning of the story. That's the scarring around her neck. It's now under her skin. So in order to peel it out, he's actually got to kill the girl.
That sounds like some Junji Ito shit.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
rough.
obviously it would be a bit darker, but I think I go lighter with the tone, like showing his youth, like spending time with his friend, maybe going to a Fall Out Boy concert, something it's classic, like that time frame
Something hip and modern.
for the kiddos. Yeah.
For the shark kabooms of the world.
I
Being
don't know how
nice
it would
to him,
end.
he's not even here.
I don't know how it would end, but I really wanted to play up on the friendship, and like I think the big thing for me, what really makes a perfect movie, more than just like a good script, obviously helps, good dialogue, but really the tone that's set around the characters, making sure that those characters are likable, or when you unlikes, like when you see somebody that you're like, I really hate that guy, I just want him to get his just desserts. Like all these other characters, they're trying their best to be like cool people, and I think that's something some horror movies have really lost touch with, is that I find
I
so
feel
much...
about Ben Affleck.
You feel like Ben Affleck has lost touch with being likable?
Oh no, I feel like he'll get what's coming to him.
Oh my god.
That's like
That's
how I feel
random
like about most of his movies.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
What a fucking random pool. Fucking Ben. Just like, damn, just dunk on Ben Affleck. Random.
I hate Ben Affleck as much as I hate Tom Cruise.
Oh my god. Anyway.
So yeah, I feel like when it comes down to horror, like a lot of the characters have just gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't care if you live or die. You mean so little to me. I have no invested interest in you. If you got written out of the story in the next 5 seconds, fine.
We're back. Yeah, we're back to the 2010s type of horror movie characters where it's just like, fucking who are you?
Exactly. You don't care. There's not enough details about these characters to make them people even. They're so two-dimensional off of what everybody else has written that they're not even trying to make characters that are interesting anymore. They just want to... Everybody feels like they're playing off of each other's ideas so much that they've stopped writing anything. They're just like, all right, we'll get this asshole in here and then this type of girl, and then can you even act? It doesn't matter. You look like somebody on the CW. You get to be on stage. Like, that's how it feels.
More or less, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's Steven's turn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, burrs.
All right, what do you got?
All right. I kind of want like one of the most boring horror movies out there.
What? That sounds...
Troll 2?
Okay. No. Hear me out. It seems like it's gonna be boring. So the whole movie is like, it starts with the opening of a journal with a girl's name on it, or someone's name, not necessarily a girl, but someone's name on it.
Yes.
And it starts getting narrated by the person who's writing in it. So basically, the journal is our main character. That's whoever it is.
So far, you're describing the Diary of Anne Frank.
Oh my god.
No.
Little did you know.
Which is its own horror movie.
Little did you know that this actually started out and it's like, it's gonna be a chick flick, and oh my god, it's about Anne Frank.
No. Oh god, this is awful and tone deaf. But you know what? Soda made the joke, so it's okay.
Yeah. I get the pass. Bam.
Apparently I don't though. Fuck.
You don't.
That's fine.
Anyways. As the story's getting narrated, we're following the main character, and the main character's doing like super mundane things. Everything is going on in the background. So what's being narrated is the voice of the main character's stalker.
Oof.
Ooh.
So
all right.
the main character is like being followed by the stalker, and the stalker gets rid of like everyone like around her. So like, say she's at the grocery store, for all intents and purposes I'm gonna say she and he. So say she's at the grocery store and some guy's been like eyeing her up, you know, oh, you want to check out produce together, maybe have a date? Nope. Dude follows, like cuts him off, like, why are you looking at my girlfriend? And then follows him home and like kills him. So as like all these like random like occurrences are happening, like these attacks, these murders, she's like, I should probably be a little bit more careful. Well, one day the stalker gets the nerve up to like be like, hey, so I've been watching you, I like you, and I want you, going like all going all booty warrior on her.
As one does.
As she obviously rejects him, and he ends up killing her.
Okay.
It's kind of like you, but more in the background, I guess.
So basically, is it like that one back to school commercial where?
Yes.
Where it's basically like.
I don't want to talk about it, but yes.
Oh my god!
You know,
that'd be funny.
That'd be a really
so
interesting premise.
in
Okay, so what if they didn't meet until the end? And I mean that as
no. I'm getting to that.
All right. Well, you just said that they met up. That's what I was saying.
No, like, so he finally like gets the nerve to like talk to her. She rejects him. He kills her, and we see him close the journal, and he's already opening up a new one, and we see him stalking someone else.
Okay, so that's like the end of the movie.
Yep, no happy ending, just crazy stalker.
Oof.
Well, like I was saying, so that could be a very interesting movie because if you think about it, right?
It'd make at least a very good short film.
Well, yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, what if if the stalker character is talking about the girl or guy or whoever the entire time, right? And you're always watching them because that person is the main character, quote unquote. The narrator is the stalker. But what if you had the stalker only appear in the background, like of some scenes, in an interesting way, to where you have reoccurring background characters, like reoccurring characters just literally standing there in the same school or job or wherever they are that they interact, and then at the ending, that's when they are killing somebody. That's when they first meet with the person. They explain their intention. I've killed all these people because they were just ruining your life, and I love you. That sort of thing. That would be very interesting because then, you're recalling this person from the background. They've been there the entire time, but you don't know who to be looking out for because in some scenes they're there and in others they're not. But it is always like reoccurring people, the same people.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I can see that. I guess like the best way I can describe that is like the cloud from Nope. It's been there the whole time. You just didn't know which one it was till it got pointed out to you.
I was thinking closer to something like Saw, but yes, yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, so I think it'd be pretty cool.
That does seem.
I think it would be interesting if the movie ended with him, or the murderer stabbing the girl in the stomach, right?
Oh.
And then it cuts to black, and then we focus on the journal, and the journal closes, and as we zoom out,
it's her
the
stomach.
girl. It's the girl, and she survived. And then you kind of get to see, or maybe you don't, but you get to see how she managed to
outwit him,
fight him, I guess. Yeah.
Well, so I guess because I don't really like the idea of like final girls for something, so I was kind of hoping.
What?
I should have mentioned it sooner.
Yeah, that's the first time I'm hearing of this shit.
Well, I like a final girl, but for like my stuff personally, I don't want it wrapped up neat in a bow. I want him to close the journal, put it on a shelf with a bunch of other journals.
Were you inspired by this idea by Megan is Missing, just as a question? just curious, because Megan is Missing, remember? How the movie just ends and it's like, yep, he fucking kills him. That's the movie.
Well,
enjoy.
I didn't get it from Megan is Missing. I just, not everything needs a happy ending. Nothing needs something that can allude to a sequel. Life doesn't have happy endings.
Yeah, but because life doesn't have happy endings, I think that movies should have more. I mean, in my personal experience,
but it's a horror movie.
Yeah, but those movies aren't fun. And what I mean by that is so the top 3 scariest movies of all time. I decided to watch as much of them as I could. Trauma, the number 1. I stood about 10 minutes of that. That movie is so fucking disgusting, and it's based on true events, real life stuff. Number 1 horror movie in the world. It doesn't have Freddy Krueger in it. It doesn't have Jason. It has real life events that actually happen to people. Grossest thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. And then the second one that came up after that is called like Serbian Film or something like that. Again,
oh my god, someone in a group chat I said that was their favorite movie and they got removed immediately.
They should be.
Yeah, they should. That's
they
fucking
got removed
disgusting, bro.
Well, someone else said it was 100 Days of Sodom. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Some wild people, dude.
Now, that being said, I am all for a movie where the villain wins. Now that's different.
Yeah.
As long as it's not too close to real life events, that's where.
What if it's not a happy ending, but it's, for example, so we follow along, right? It starts out with a journal, like you said. Then you get the initial twist that you find out the journal is from the stalker that's following this girl, and then they finally meet at the end. and then when he approaches her, there's another twist, and it turns out that she was actually psychotic herself, and she was trying to lure him the whole time so that she could
That's
murder
the
him.
plot point of season 2 of you, Blaze.
That's also
Oh my God.
that's actually
Seen season 2. I don't know.
Yeah, you.
That's also the plot
actually
point of the
pretty
movie
alright.
He
Pet.
was all about a
So it's-
stalker, and like you find out at the end of the season that she was basically stalking him the whole time.
Hey, that's some shit.
I mean, I
And then
honestly,
she traps him with a baby.
to be fair, I've enjoyed seasons and movies like that. Like I said, Pet has one, You season 2, Dexter also has the season where the serial killer's stalking the serial killer and they're going back around with John Lithgow. God, that was a good scene. That was
a good one.
That was a great fucking season. So honestly, I think all those endings would be interesting for those films, and I could see any one of those being in there. I actually liked all the films that were discussed in here. I did have kind of a second idea. This is more. Does anybody here like action horror?
Well, yeah. I mean, even
Well,
that's
are we
a thing.
considering like movies like Predator action horror?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah,
The
Predators.
first Predator,
Okay.
absolutely action horror. So I had an idea a while back about a story that I was calling Saint Bastard. Basically,
Saint Bastard.
That's
yeah.
a pretty good name.
So demons have taken over the earth and they've enslaved people like they would in concentration camps. But there's this one lone priest who had fallen previously, but believed in God always, just couldn't be a priest anymore. And he comes back to fight the demons, and one of the first opening scenes is him flying through a bunch of clouds over a concentration camp where the demons are out, and he blesses the clouds so the water comes down as holy rain and burns the shit out of them so he frees all the slaves.
What the fuck?
And it's like the demons know him as Saint Bastard. And it's a very metal type of horror movie, but with the whole time the guy being kind of like a John Constantine sort of badass, you know, like Doomslayer, Evil Dead Ash. He's just a pain in the ass of the demons the entire time, and it would be campy as fuck, but I think it'd be
What
funny
did
as
my
hell.
people do wrong?
Well, you kept
Damn.
enslaving everyone. That was where we started. And then there was
Jesus
the torture.
Started it first.
Oh my god. All right. Anyway.
I meant people.
Anyways. Oh my god. Silly bastards.
But yeah, I think the fun part, and if anybody's listening, like, in thinking about what type of perfect horror movie you would want to make, like, I think the important thing is, you know, that everybody does have different tastes in horror movies. Think about the things you absolutely love in horror movies, and think about the things that you actually do not like in horror movies. Like, I don't like realistic horror. I think it's gross. I think it turns my stomach, and I know it's out there. If I want it, I'll watch
That's
the
all
news. I'll say this: I did watch Dahmer recently. Have you guys seen that yet?
Not yet.
No.
So the first episode, of course, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty intense. And then every following episode makes that first episode seem like a cakewalk. I was like, oh shit, god damn, oh, this is all based on what happened. Oh no, it gets
it's fucking
real
rough.
fucked up. And the only reason I could sit through that is because Evan Peters' performance was so goddamn amazing. I swear to God, that kid is magic when it comes to horror. Like, he is going to be a horror actor well into his 90s. He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are like the things that you guys were like immediately thinking about? And you know, like Blaze, what inspired you to think about that as like your type of horror movie? Like, what did you pull from?
So I just like I said, I either go for movies that are well, I guess by the majority considered good, right? Quote unquote subjective, I suppose. But
Yeah.
I also really enjoy bad, funny movies. So I was trying to think of kind of like all the movies that I've seen that I've enjoyed that weren't necessarily good, but I've had a good time. So like Zombievers or Black Sheep, or like even one that I'm gonna choose for a movie night soon, which is Psycho Gorman, which was actually a very recent film.
Oh yeah, that's
in
pretty
2020,
good.
and it was like cheesy, but also like gory, and also like super like really good practical effects. That's another thing I really like in movies when they go for, you know, like actual practical effects and suits and things, and not all CGI. So I think I was inspired by that most of all, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. No,
I feel
I'm
it.
thinking about it. Yeah, now that you've said that, I'm seeing your movie even more clearly in my head. Like before, I was kind of picturing like how the cat might look as a monster, but now that you're describing these things, I'm kind of seeing like that imagery.
Yeah, so I was pulling from like all those things. So I was thinking, I don't know if you've seen Psycho Gorman, but like
Yes, I have.
it has 2 kids in it, and the girl herself is pretty much a psycho. And so
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know, have a similar like character, and it doesn't have to be the same, but there's a motivation behind that character to take control of the alien demon cat, right? And so and then the cat itself would be a little bit more along the lines of something mixed between, you know, like Zombieber's Black Sheep, or like Splice or whatever, like kind of like a practically made creature. And you could have a regular cat, you know, for certain shots, and then you could have like the prosthetic animatronic, I suppose, or something like that. I think it would be really interesting. So
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Psycho Gorman, because Psycho Gorman has a lot of stuff that I really like about the movie, and it has the one thing that I find the most annoying in horror right now. Actually, I find it annoying in almost every single movie. I like when kids are sassy, not when they're little shitheads. Like in Stranger Things, that one kid's little sister, you know, she's always being kind of a dickhead, and
it's awesome. It's fucking feral. I love characters like
that's
that.
the thing is, I'm like, I don't mind sassy is like Wednesday Addams' responses to like how the reality of the world was in the Addams Family. Funny, clever, I like it. But then you get like the little girl in Psycho Gorman, and I'm just like, oh god.
Oh yeah, she's a bit sus.
She's such a pain in the ass. The whole time I was like, please have a
Now,
plan.
if you're going to make a little girl character, make her like fucking Lucas's sister in Stranger Things, dude.
see, interestingly enough, I actually liked her character, because I think they exaggerated it so much that it was funny to me. So
Okay.
yeah, and I think it took a lot of, for a kid, it took a lot of acting chops.
Oh, I'm not annoyed
emotions,
with.
you know?
I'm not annoyed with the child actors. The child actors in that are fantastic. Whoever wrote their lines and gave direction, those are the people that I blame. I do not blame the actors. Like Lucas's sister in Stranger Things. I'm not annoyed. That actress is fantastic. She's going to be in another movie here soon, or a show, and I'm going to go watch that because I think she is amazing. I get annoyed at like just what giant assholes they are, and I'm like, first off, where are your parents? Second off, I hope they die in this film because they've done such a bad job with you.
Being dickheads elsewhere, dude. Yeah, they're, again, it's like anime where it's like their parents are kind of irrelevant. Shit's just going down.
All of Pokemon.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, Demon. What about you? What'd you draw from?
I don't know. Like, I know I mentioned like You before, because the next season's coming out in February. That, you know, like, stalkers are terrifying as hell, first off.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of just like talking where it's like, wow, there could be someone watching me at any time, and this is what could be going on, and I just don't know it.
So with you, Pixel loves you, and I thought for sure, because all I've seen of it was basically people fawning over the stalker. I'm like, you're fawning over somebody who's a bad person. This is dumb, you know? But then I watched it, and I'll tell you what, the soundtrack to that show is on point, first of all. The music in the background is very fitting for every single scene. That team is amazing. The lines and dialogue are all really good, and the actors and actresses in the show are really good. I just don't like the premise and how people are attracted to that, which isn't the show's fault, if I'm being honest. Now that I've seen it, I really can't blame the show. It's the people who are dumb.
People
Well,
just
I
be
kinda haven't
mentally
had that
unstable, my guy.
experience that people, I really haven't seen much people like, oh yes, I love Joe Goldberg. It's more like, he's super creepy and really hairy. That's usually like about the answer I get for most things about him.
I would
To be
love for
fair,
that to
if
be
you
more.
think
He's
about
the
it,
wolf
he's been
man.
playing that role his whole life because he was also
Exactly.
Gossip Girl and Gossip
The-
Girl, and he was basically like
People are basically calling
You ruined
you
Gossip Girl for me.
Girl if it's basically
mean,
Gossip Girl
no, you're
if Anne Humphrey got dark.
Yeah. No, I'm
That's
teasing.
literally
I'm
it.
teasing. I watched Gossip Girl. I actually watched it recently because Issa kept referring to Paladin as
so
Gossip
yeah.
Girl.
So if you think about it,
Because
like
I
that
started
show
calling
is
Paladin Gossip
extremely-
Girl.
If you think about it, that show, even though it's played off as like a kind of like a girls thing and like all this stuff, it's like it's super like it's fucked up.
It's good.
Like it's like fucked up with what the guy does to the lengths that he goes to
Oh,
like
yeah, no,
manipulate everybody. You know,
Man's
So-
definitely
yeah.
got moxie. Unfortunately, it's
he's
all
just
in the
good at
wrong places.
gaslighting.
Yeah.
I said what I said. He's got moxie, but it's in all the and definitely for all the wrong reason.
Anne Humphrey's out here gaslighting, gatekeeping.
It is the witching hour, so we are gonna have to wrap up soon. Blaze, go ahead, please finish your thought, and then we'll move on to Issa.
Oh, I just wanted to say, since we brought up, like, I think you previously mentioned, like, tropes and things that you like or dislike, I just wanted to bring up a trope that I really, really hate, usually.
Hey viewers, sorry about what just happened there with the episode. We had a weird cutout here at the end. It's super unfortunate actually, because what Blaze said next was actually something truly beautiful. He talked about how entertainment brings us together in this really beautiful sentiment, and I do apologize. The audio for some reason got cut out and it started to mess up really bad. We couldn't finish our thoughts, but yeah, hopefully we'll have Blaze again on soon. And of course, we want to thank you all for listening. And well, just have yourself a wonderful night and thank you for everything.